Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hopefully, you can hear me all right. Okay, great. All right, so this is a part two video where yesterday, my last live, I showed the difference that I found between Markart pencils on the left and my new Holbein portrait set pencils on the right. And then today I was just watching the Tree Fine Arts video about her experience with Holbein, and I will put a link below to her video. But basically, it came down to she's a professional artist, does amazing color pencil artwork, and she said that she could not trust the Holbein light fastness. She called them, and they wouldn't give a standardized, uh, you know, uh, proof of their light fastness. Which, as a professional artist that she is, and she sells her artwork, she can't risk it. Okay, so then after that, she went through that in the first half of the video, and then the second half of the video, she did a beautiful piece of artwork with the Holbein pencils, and she described what she found to be the best way to use these pencils. And I actually started doing that just by instinct. And what I mean by that is pressing hard. She said light layers are not the way to go with this pencil. She said you want to be just go ahead and be heavy-handed and sloppy, but then go in with the OMS or odorless mineral spirits, and then smooth it out, and then you get the best results with the Holbein. And Holbein does have their own, which I happen to have, because I like using mineral spirits, odorless mineral spirits here. So this is the Holbein. It's called Melts. It's that you can get on Amazon, and I'm going to do that today. I'm going to use the Holbein mineral spirits on the drawing I did yesterday. And I'll be doing it on the Markart and the Holbein, and we'll see if there's a difference, because I do think there are differences in the core. So let's take a look here and see. So I've got a little bit of the odorless mineral spirits, the melts here in my little cup here, my little glass, and I'm going to go ahead and start blending them. I think I'll start first the Holbein side here. Now I use a heavy hand here a bit with this coloring on the face. So, and I also did very heavy-handed with the skin. I just pressed it right on there, and this does move around quite a bit when you use the odorless mineral spirits, so it is looking more painterly. Maybe it brings if there's a I don't know if there's acrylic in these. Latree said that she felt that she thought they felt like her uh, oil crayons that she uses. I don't use oil crayons, so I don't know. I don't use them. So I think maybe once or twice I've used them. So, but these are moving. Just the pencil does dissolve quite nicely in there right away. I don't know if she uses. I'm using a synthetic brush to do this. I think she may. Lakree may have used a soft brush. This is more of a stiffer. These bristles are on this brush are stiffer, so that might make a difference too when doing this. I'm sure it does. But just use what you have, right? Whoops, I kind of smudged that over the eye there a bit. Oh well. The thing is that she suggested, she just says, go in, put in heavy, heavy layers, and then just color over that. So I thought, okay, that's actually, and she speculates that that's why these pencils are so popular with some people, because they don't like doing the light layers, which I would put myself in that camp. I don't like doing light layers either. They're a drag. It takes forever to finish, a picture when you have to do layer upon layer upon layer. I mean, sometimes you're in the mood for it, but sometimes you're just not. You just want to get it done. So, as you can see, it does blend quite well with the odorless mineral spirits here with the melts. And then after this dries, you can just add more color on top of it and make it even more dramatic or vibrant. So I sort of moved in a little bit there with the hair on the sides. Oops. You gotta be careful. See, I'm lifting up a little bit, or I'm adding some light there by accident. I'm gonna wipe off the brush in between sections. So I'll have to re-darken the eye there. I think I sort of went over the eye with the lighter. It melted so well that it just sort of washed over the eye there a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, I'm still seeing I'd have to add more layers onto this, but I think if I kept adding layers, I could get a really good. Um, it's just for the beginning there. I have to go over again with more layers, but apparently that's the best way. What she's saying to use these, and I believe it because I don't think using layers is so maybe going to work so well. She did try that first because that's the way she normally works with color pencils. All right, so that's the Holbein side. So now I'm going to do the left-hand side, the Markart side, and see if the Markart melts as well. Now already I can see that the pigment is not as thick on the Markart side. So even though they felt and looked the same going on, it's a little bit less creamy. Just a little bit. But it is melting quite a bit. I'm using a lot of the melts. I'm just sort of, I may be being a little bit sloppier than I should be with the melts. I just sort of dipping the brush in and just diving in there. Maybe other artists would be more careful and just use a little bit. So I may be using more than necessary. I tend to do that sometimes. Focus did I lose? Okay. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that the live is still working. Okay. Make sure I'm still on here. Okay, good. All right, so here we go. Still continuing with the Markart side. And it's blending. It's blending. Not as easily though, I don't think. Not as creamy. Not as much pigment moving around. Okay, the hair is doing. Yeah, I can definitely see a bit of difference. That the of how when you blend the pencils, it's when I think the differences between the pencils really comes out, in my opinion. I don't think the Markart blends as well with the mineral spirits here, the melts. Now, it might work better with something else. I don't know. I mean, it does blend. I mean, it is melting the color. It just doesn't seem to be as pigmented or creamy. It's not as creamy as I don't think, as the Holbeins. The Holbein pencils, the core, the pigment is creamier and a bit more substantial than the Markarts. So they're definitely not identical pencils, but they're just very similar in some ways. They got a lot more. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like thicker on the. Oops, lost the camera. There we go. Getting it back. Give me one moment. Okay, it's always at the most. Okay, here we go. All right, so the right hand side, I blended the melts on both sides, and on the Holbein side there, you can kind of see it's a bit creamier and thicker on the cheeks. You can kind of see it's a bit thicker and creamier, just a little bit. It's not the hair. Came out similar, and the eyes and eyebrows, maybe the lips. Now, it could just be I didn't put enough layers on the. I may have put more layers on one side than the other, so that could be my fault. I can't remember now what I did exactly with the layers, but it just seems that the melts appears to work better with the Holbein than the Markart. And again, I can go back and wait for it to dry a little bit, and I could add more layers on it. I don't know how quickly this dries. Still feels a little bit damp, but maybe I'll just go in anyways. I know I wait a little, give it some more time. Again, this is on thick cardstock paper, so it can hold up with a liquid medium. You can see it's just a little damp on the back. It's a little bit warped there, not too bad. I did use a lot of it, so on regular Amazon paper, that would be an issue for sure. So I'm going to go in and do another layer on top of it and see how it goes here with both of these pencils here. I still have them out. So let's start with the umber brown on the Holbein side. Let me actually make it the Prussian blue. Out. It's pretty dry. So I'm going to go in with the Prussian blue here and just darken it up some more. So again, yeah, it looks like this, one of the reasons possibly for the popularity of this pencil is that you can just go ahead and use hard, thick layers, just color in kind of sloppy if you want, pressing hard, and just go in afterwards with your mineral spirits. And you'll still get a beautiful drawing without doing all the light layers that you normally would with other color pencils. I'm just going in, pressing hard, putting in the blue and the brown. Adding another layer of the Prussian blue, make the hair even darker. Again, I'm just coloring very sloppy, getting the pigment on there. Just kind of a fun way to color. It's the way when you first start coloring as a child, that's what you do. Just dive in and start just filling it in, right? That's what I'm sort of doing here with this now because I know I can go over it again and we'll see. I'll smooth it out. Hope I'm not pressing too hard. We'll find out. All right, so I just used the whole bind, pressed hard, slapped some color on there, and I seem to have misplaced my brush. So there it is. I got it back. All right, here we go. I'm going to go over what I just did. Smooth it out again. Oops. And you gotta be really careful. It's almost like you're dealing with painting. Dealing with painting now. That ink just that pigment just melts right away. And look, I've got just melting it there. So I'll just. It's definitely something to get used to. Again, I'm probably using too much melts. I'm just using a lot of it right now. There's a lot of pigment on the hair there. Yeah, so you can get really dramatic results with this. Um, Using Holbein this way. All right, so that's the Holbein. So yeah, so if you just keep adding layers, now she did a much more beautiful drawing on the tree with her I forget what she did again. It was some kind of animal. So now I'm going to, so I added the mineral spirits all dry now on the Markart side. So I'm going to go in again. With the Markart pencil, with the blue and the brown. And see if we can make this the Markart side. I'm sharpening my pencils real quick. Let's see if I can make the skin a little bit creamier. Adding another, I'm pressing down very hard right now. I'm putting down a bunch of color here, or as much color as I can there. Just pressing hard, being a little reckless. And again, coloring over. Pressing hard with the blue. And then once again, a second time going over with the melts. As I'm using the melts on the hair and I'm getting all this dark color, I'm sort of going back over the face and the shaded areas that I want shaded. I'm just using that black over there. Yes, I think they both take the odorless mineral spirits well. The Holbein's definitely the Holbein, when you put the mineral spirits on the Holbein, you get a lot more pigment there to move around. It's definitely more pigmented. But then it sort of ends up looking, like at least in this example, more like a painting. And you may or may not, I could probably do a better job. I think the mark art looks better. Yeah, I used too much pencil on the Holbein side. Yeah, it's maybe just my sloppy work. I was too sloppy on the Holbein side, maybe. Uh, wow. So is that maybe it's better not to have too much pigment with this? I don't know. But yeah, I think the end result. I like the. Yeah, it is my fault here. I put a little too much color here. I think on the cheeks. So have to try it again with other drawings and keep working at it. But I just wanted to let you know, this is what I found out from Lacree was that doing light layers with the Holbein pencils is may not be the best way to go. And I did start. I'm working on another portrait. I can show you. I have a video coming out next about this. I'm doing a portrait now. This is the thin Amazon paper. And I've been using light layers. So this is Holbein pencil doing light layers. And I'm just, I'm not getting the results I wanted. And I think Lacree found out the same thing, that she wasn't really getting the results that she wanted. And I could use odorless mineral spirits on this, but she said, don't even bother, because I may try it anyways and see what happens, but it's probably not going to work out well. What she was saying again is that you have to put on a lot of color, a lot more color, and then use the odorless mineral spirits. So I'm going to play around with that idea and see how it goes. But I just thought I'd let you know is what people are finding out about these pencils and how differently they work. They definitely don't work like other oil-based pencils, like the Starjoy and others. Hi, Tiger Eye. How are you? Yeah, so I am figuring out how to use Holbein and how different they are to other pencils and ways to get around, working with them, how to work with them in the best way to get the best results. Because I assumed, as I'm sure many would, that you would use light layers, right? If you get any color pencil, you'd use light layers, but apparently that's not the best way to go about Holbein pencils. Holbein apparently prefers the pencils work best with um, depositing darker color and then using some kind of odorless mineral spirits or melts that they use. Although a lot of people don't like using odorless mineral spirits, I don't mind. I like using it. I don't care. But it does sort of make yeah, it can change things dramatically, and I think people don't like taking a risk like that, which I don't blame them. Um, so I think you can fix it up. It's easy enough to fix up. Even if the colors don't go, the pigment moves in a way you don't want it to, you can go back and fix it. So yeah, something looking a little bit more painterly there. Maybe I'll try it now. I'll look right now. Oh, no, actually, I'll wait till. Oh, I'll just do it now. I will. I did some light layers on this page in this boho style, and I am curious to know how this is going to work out. So you just saw how it looks when I use odorless mineral spirits on heavy layer of pencil that I just sort of slobbed on there, just slapped on there, I should say. Slapped on there like a slob. Made up a word there, slobbed. So now these are light layers. I do have a piece of paper in the back to protect it. Now I will just use a little bit mineral spirits. Now this is thin Amazon paper, which is not normally conducive to using liquid. So I'm trying to use a less amount of the mineral spirits here, the melts, using a smaller. Well, it looks okay. Let me see. Go up here. Yeah. See, it's moving it around. I'm gonna have to maybe putting more layers on top of it. No doubt. Oh, there goes the camera again. I'm putting it back on. So yeah, I don't think it's because these are just very light layers, so it's not so much pigment on there. So I don't think it's making that much of a difference or very little difference. And I am moving it around a little bit. I don't really want to move it around too much. Yeah, so very, very faint. Um, I'm going to go in next and use a very dark layer. Now, I started the hair over here, but because I don't think I'm pressing hard enough, I don't think it's going to give me the results that I'd want, that I would get with other pencils. You have to go in and press harder on these pencils. So, yeah. On Amazon paper, I don't want to use too much of the liquid and whatnot. The paper will start ripping or whatnot. Yeah, I'm not making blotchiness down here. The color over all this. Yeah, it looks okay, I guess. Yeah, so I'm putting, and put some more layers on top of it. I guess that's the way to go. So I will continue this page on my video I'm coming out with. You will see, I don't mind my messy desk here. So there you have it. That is how the Markart and the Holbein look after I add the odorless mineral spirits. And they both look better. I think, again, both comparable. And especially considering the price difference, I think I would go with the Markart. Anyways, there you have it. This should be my final video on this topic. So thank you again for watching. Good to see you again, Tiger Eye. Till next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye now.